Yo, what up? Welcome to the Gold Standard. I'm your host, Mac TheWiseSole. So, hey, big episode this week. It's Super Bowl weekend. We're going to go ahead and tap into all of that. NBA trade deadline. The chaos was ridiculous. Trades, players going different places, big time players making moves. When do you ever see a top 5 player in the world get traded at the age of 25? That happened this week. Sacramento Kings fans, you lost your star point guard. Beam team, I don't know how y'all gonna feel about that. Wemby has his Robin. So what's that mean for the Spurs? It could mean a lot of things. Golden State, Dub Nation, Jimmy Butler has been added to the roster at the expense of Andrew Wiggins. We'll get into all that this episode of the Gold Standard. Let's get it! Yo, what up? It's your boy. So, let's talk about it. This week has been crazy as hell when it comes to sports. The NBA trade deadline, like I said earlier, was very chaotic. It is Super Bowl week. But to be completely honest, the way the NBA's been moving this week, there hasn't been a lot of hype for the Super Bowl. I mean, this is the biggest sporting event in America, and the news has really been on the NBA. And that's kind of crazy. I mean, I guess the NFL brought this on themselves when they tried to infringe on the NBA Christmas holiday. So I guess the NBA struck back. I don't know. That's what I think. I don't know, but outside of being an Eagles fan or a Chiefs fan, I haven't seen a lot of Super Bowl hype talk this week. Even on the sports shows, they focus mainly this week on the NBA. Obviously, you don't see a top 5 player in the world get traded every day. So, obviously, that's big news. But that started an avalanche of other trades that were just as big. And I don't know if it changed the landscape of the NBA this season, but it definitely made some noise. But back to the Super Bowl. NFL, this is your week, man. Like, you better deliver a hell of a Super Bowl game, or else you might take an L on your biggest week of the year. But we'll get into all that. Eagles, Chiefs, we'll start it off with the big game, the Super Bowl. How is this game going to go? Look, I'm going to break this down real quick. It might not even be that long. Obviously, I'm not going to keep y'all here too long on this episode, so don't even trip about that. Make sure you follow, subscribe on all the socials down below. Make sure you tap and hit the subscribe button here on this YouTube channel. Support your boy. It goes a long way. Now, Super Bowl. Obviously, you want to talk about Pat Mahomes, Jalen Hurts, right? That's the quarterback matchup. That's what everybody there want to see. Who's going to play better out of the quarterbacks? This game is going to come down to the trenches. Eagles O-line, Chiefs defensive line. But even a little bit deeper than that, Jalen Carter of the Eagles versus Chris Jones of the Chiefs. If the Eagles offensive line can neutralize Chris Jones, the Eagles are going to win the game. If the Chiefs offensive line can shut down or neutralize Jalen Carter, the Chiefs are going to win the game. I've seen Chris Jones wreak havoc in Super Bowls, in playoff games. I've seen it against my own team. He is a monster. He can definitely impact the game himself. But that kid in Philadelphia, that Jalen Carter kid, he's a new breed of beast. And I think he's going to be he's gonna be the reason, man. I think he's gonna be the reason. Now, I'm not saying either one of these players are gonna be the MVPs. I mean, it's a defensive line. Unless somebody has like 4 or 5 sacks, it's probably not gonna happen. But the other players, obviously, I think the Eagles have a better team, a better roster. I mean, their offense, they got A.J. Brown, Saquon Barkley, Jalen Hurts commanding it behind an amazing offensive line. We know what happened in the last Super Bowl. It was the turnovers, right? And you can say that about any playoff game, any Super Bowl. Turnovers are going to matter. That's football. Jalen, if he can hold on to the ball and not turn it over, that's great insight wise. I mean, yeah, I know. It's obvious, right? But if they do that, man, I think Philly does they do damage in this game. They might put the beats on the Chiefs. And I know it's hard to say because this is Pat Mahomes and the Chiefs, two-time defending Super Bowl champions going for the three-peat. What does Kansas City need to do? They need to slow down the Eagles offense. They need to make sure Saquon doesn't go Saquon on them. Can they do that? Yeah. I mean, look what they've done all season. I mean, they were what, tied for the best record in the league, and they weren't that explosive offensively. Their run game was in pieces. Isaiah Pacheco was hurt a lot of the year. Kareem Hunt kind of picked up the slack, but it's not anything too crazy. They got DeAndre Hopkins. Juju is still there catching passes. And Travis Kelce isn't the same Travis Kelce he's been in the past. But it's something about greatness that my boy Spade, shout out to you, Spade. He's talking about he wants to see greatness and he wants to see the three-peat. Personally, I don't. And I'm gonna be completely unbiased when I make my pick here. So just because I'm not a big Chiefs fan, don't let that fool you. That's not gonna decide how I pick this game. He wants to see greatness and history made. They have a chance to three-peat. All the teams that had opportunities in the past in the NFL either didn't get to this moment or completely dropped the ball if they did. So we have a chance to witness something that we've never seen before. And Pat Mahomes can put himself on top of the GOAT conversation. It really depends on who you're talking to. I'm not going to put him on top of the GOAT conversation. That boy in San Francisco, number 16, Joe Montana, that's the GOAT. But, that's a conversation for a whole nother day. I know you Tom Brady fans are out there. He's top 3. I ain't going to hold you. But Mahomes, he's getting right there. And if he gets his three-peat, it can mean a lot. Another X factor, Andy Reid. Not only Andy Reid, Spags. He's the best defensive coordinator in the NFL. And the way he schemes up these playoff games, these Super Bowls, he causes turnovers. He helps his defense wreak havoc. And honestly, if Andy Reid didn't have Spags all these years, I'm not sure how many Super Bowl championships Kansas City actually has. Spags, he doesn't get the credit he deserves. Spags is probably the key. I know you got Pat Mahomes. That's generational. But Spags as D coordinator, man, somebody hire Spags. Break this shit up. Like, somebody hire Spags. Now, back to Philadelphia. They have an amazing defensive coordinator as well. Vic Fangio, hey, that dude is a beast as well. He elevated Philadelphia's defense this season. Great hire by Sirianni and the Eagles, bringing in Spags. Bringing in Vic Fangio. Great move. But again, I think it's going to come down to the line. Both D lines need to play well, and that's going to be the difference maker. So let's go to prediction time. Eagles, Chiefs. How do I see this going? I'm going to say this. Again, it's totally unbiased. I think this game will be close. It will be. It'll be like a couple years ago. A couple Super Bowls ago. Super Bowl what? 57. It should be close. I'm gonna go final score. Eagles 28. Kansas City 24. I got the Eagles winning the Super Bowl. The Philadelphia Eagles will end the two-year dynasty run. Well, it's more than a 2-year dynasty run, but a 2-year streak of the Kansas City Chiefs and become Super Bowl 59 champions. First of all, let me know how you feel about that in the comments. I want to know your predictions. I want to know your scores. Who's going to win? Who's going to be your MVP? My Super Bowl MVP is going to be Saquon Barkley. I think he goes crazy. I think they do what they need to do. They have the better roster. Kansas City has really good players, but the Eagles roster, the depth of their roster, the coaching, Fangio, I think they get it done. As long as Kellen Moore don't mess this up for the Eagles, they should be good. So I'm gonna go Eagles over Chiefs, man. That's what I gotta go with. I'm just letting you know. Now, let's go ahead and tap into the NBA. Yo, the NBA stole all the thunder this week, and I really did enjoy it. We had a lot of big news, man. Luka Doncic is now a LA Laker. As we had the emergency podcast episode earlier this week, when the trade went down, your boy came down to the studio and we recorded a little fire episode. That's crazy. The Lakers are able to pull that off. Now, Dallas did get Anthony Davis, so we'll talk about that a little bit as well. Other trades, De'Aaron Fox goes to San Antonio. Zach LaVine ends up in Sacramento. So now the Sacramento Kings are like the Chicago Bulls West, with DeMar DeRozan and Zach LaVine trying to figure it out. Sacramento's cooked. I'm just being honest with you. Sacramento's cooked. De'Aaron leaving that franchise organization has put them and their fans in chaos. On Twitter, I look at all the stuff going down. The Beam team is in chaos, man. They don't know what to do about this. They're upset. They're blaming De'Aaron. It's his fault. He destroyed their dynasty. I'm going to be real with you, Kings fans. Y'all didn't have no dynasty. The Beam team has not had a dynasty. I know you want to think you did, but you didn't. And that's okay. So you rebuild or you try to piece this together with Zach LaVine and Domantas Sabonis, and maybe you guys get something. They made some good pickups. They picked up Jonas Valanciunas. The Kings have an okay play-in, lower end, maybe playoff type squad. That's just what they are. Other big deals. Jimmy Butler leaves the Miami Heat to join Steph Curry and the Warriors. That was probably the second, third biggest move of the week. That came down pretty much to the deadline before that deal really got done. There was a lot of rumblings early in the week or toward the middle of the week, really, that the Warriors were trying to acquire a star. There was even rumblings of Kevin Durant returning to Golden State. Now, you know, the Warriors, that's my team. I was honestly hoping KD would come back. I was looking forward to that. I'm thinking that could have been a thing. But they acquired Jimmy Butler. They had to give up Andrew Wiggins, Dennis Schroeder, a couple other pieces, you know, to make this all work. Not only did they acquire Jimmy Butler, but then they signed him to a 2-year, $121 million extension. Now, that's crazy. That's crazy. Jimmy Butler's 35. I don't know how this is going to work. But with all the trades, does it impact the championship this season? I'm going to tell you right now, I don't think the Lakers are going to win the championship. I don't think the Warriors are going to win the championship. Obviously, we got a 2-month run before we get to the playoffs. Maybe something happens and teams, you know, start balling out and going crazy. I don't see that. One underrated move that could help a team win the championship: the Cleveland Cavaliers acquired DeAndre Hunter from the Atlanta Hawks, and that's going to be a sleeper move, man. They needed a bigger wing defender to go against them boys up in Boston, and this definitely could help them out. I'm going to tell you guys right now, I see 4 teams in the NBA that could possibly win the NBA championship. 2 out west, 2 out east. In the Eastern Conference, I think you have Boston, Cleveland. Those are my 2 teams out east right now. Again, as the season goes on, we'll talk about it and see if anything changes. Out west, OKC, Dallas. Anthony Davis going to Dallas can impact the title chances for the Mavericks this season. Yes, Luka's not there, but he has Kyrie. He has Klay Thompson. They're going to get Derek Lively back soon. They have a nice team. Can they get out of the Western Conference this year without Luka? I don't know, because he's a bad dude, man. Luka is amazing. Other than that, I don't think the championship is going to be one of those 4 teams. Again, we'll talk about it as the season gets closer to the playoffs, but right now it's a 4-team race for the NBA title this year. I don't see anybody else outside of those 4 teams actually winning it. But again, we'll talk about that. The Lakers, Luka Magic. I don't know why the Lakers are able to do this all the time, man. I hate that they're able to make these kind of trades and get this kind of talent. Like, I really hate that. But it's okay, man. The Lakers made a play for the future. There's been rumblings. Everybody's not sure. Is Luka going to sign an extension in LA in a couple years? They ain't got to worry about that right now. I mean, the Lakers don't really lose stars. I mean, unless they move off of them themselves. So I don't anticipate that. But Luka in LA, that's going to be fun to watch. Lakers, I hate that team, but they're going to be fun to watch. How it works with LeBron and Luka right now, I talked about it in the last episode. They're both ball dominant. I don't see how it does work. I just don't see how that fits and that does work. But this will be the first time that LeBron James is not the best player on his team. And that's just my opinion. I mean, where he is at age 40 and where Luka is right now, Luka is just the better player. And that's not slighting LeBron, because LeBron is still one of them dudes. But I want to see what happens, man. Can LeBron play off ball? Can Luka play off ball? I've never seen Luka play off ball, so we'll see how that all plays out. But Dallas Mavericks fans, y'all got to chill, man. Why are y'all sending threats to the GM? I get it. Dumbass trade. I get it. But y'all got to chill, man. You might have a chance to win a championship. And the funny thing about that in Dallas, I honestly don't think a championship would help y'all. Like, y'all still going to be mad. Like, that's the crazy. Y'all love Luka that much. Y'all might win a championship this year and still be mad about the trade. What is being a fan for? Are you trying to win championships, or are you just trying to have your favorite player on your team? I mean, y'all got to do better. Do better, Dallas. I guess it's Dallas. I shouldn't expect much. No hate, but, that's low-key hate. Jimmy Butler, I hope you help Steph out, man. I hope the Warriors figure this out. He's going to add some grit to the Warriors, which I'm looking forward to. We'll see how him and Draymond get along on the court. Defensively, it should look really good. The Warriors losing Wiggins, that's going to hurt too. Wiggins was having a solid season. The only thing with Andrew Wiggins that really bothered me was the consistency. He just was never consistent enough to be that number 2 option that Steph needed. Steph needed a little bit more. Can Jimmy Butler give you that? I know playoff Jimmy can give you that. The problem with the Warriors is, can we get to playoff Jimmy? I mean, we're not even playing Jimmy right now. We got to get to playoff Jimmy. So hopefully we can get in the playoffs and we can get playoff Jimmy activated, and him and Steph can try to do something, man, because I think the West, it's winnable, man. A lot of young teams. OKC is still young. The Houston Rockets, young. Memphis, they're not young, but they're not old. But they have experience, man. And then obviously Dallas. Dallas is probably one of the most experienced teams in the West that can really do something outside of Denver. And I don't know what I'm going to get from Joker when it comes to playoff time. Well, I know what I'm going to get for Joker. Joker's going to give me the double-double. It's the rest of the team. It's like they got their championship and they just don't have dynasty written on them. But again, I could be wrong. That's something we can address and talk about as the season goes along. Maybe they turn it up in Denver and get busy. But it was a crazy week, man. Like it was a crazy week. Shout out to Sham Sharania. Man, Sham's put in work this week, man. Hey, I ain't gonna lie. I had the notifications on Twitter. Shams was going crazy. Salute to Shams for a crazy week as far as the NBA trade deadline. NBA, salute to you for taking the shine off the NFL Super Bowl. Speaking of the Super Bowl, Kendrick Lamar halftime. That's what I'm looking forward to the most. Kendrick Lamar at halftime. How y'all feeling about Dot at the Super Bowl? Now, you Drake fans, look, y'all chill. I know you're going to be upset. Not Like Us is going to be played. Just accept it. It's going to happen. But I think Kendrick is going to put on a crazy Super Bowl halftime show. Him, SZA, it's going to go down. We're going to talk about that next week also. Next week's episode, we'll have the NBA All-Star Weekend going down here in the Bay Area next week. That should be fun. We'll talk about the teams, the three-point shootout, celebrity games, the dunk contest is sleep. Let's just be real, it's sleep. But hey, Stephon Castle, you're my guy. I'm picking you for that one. I'm just let y'all know now. That's who I'm going to go with. But we'll get into all that next week. Thanks for tapping in with your boy. This is the Gold Standard. Again, I'm your host, Mac TheWiseSole. Tap in again on the socials below. I'll see you next week. Thanks for tuning in. This has been the Gold Standard.